Everyone, and welcome to the next lesson in this series on AWS fundamentals. So today we're going to carry on with Amazon S3 and we're going to learn how to create a bucket policy. So you can go to Amazon S3, okay, or you can search for it here. I bookmark it to the navigation bar as you can see here. Okay, so let's wait for that to load up. Okay, so we can close this info panel and we are greeted by our buckets list. So I have the bucket that I used yesterday. Was this one here, my bucket 96 AP. So choose the bucket that you used in the last video. Okay, and here we have it. Okay, so my bucket 96 AP. Now you'll remember, based on the last video, okay, I uploaded an object called cat1.jpg. So if we can open this, you recall that we were able to actually open it here from this link here, okay, which is based on our AWS user accessing this object, as opposed to the link here, which is for the public and for anyone on the internet. Now we want to make this fully available so all users from around the world can access our object if they are able to click on this link. So to do something like that, we would need to add a permission policy onto our bucket. So this is the bucket that we're going to assign that permission policy to. So we can click on the permissions tab here. Okay, so although it does say objects can be public, okay, this is true to an extent, but we do not have full access just yet. Now, to enable this full access, we would need to configure a bucket policy that's going to allow us to read objects from this bucket publicly. All right, so to do that, we can go ahead and create a bucket policy, and this will be written in a JSON, okay? And this is going to provide access to the objects that are stored in this bucket. So in other words, all the files in my bucket 96 AP here, which includes cat1.jpg in this case. So we can go ahead and create a bucket policy. So we can just say edit, okay? And just keep this ARN here in mind for your own bucket. Just bear that in mind. Okay, now you want to open this in a new tab, the policy generator. So just open this in a new tab here. Okay, just remember this ARN. Okay, it's going to be important. Okay, so we can go to the policy generator. Okay, so we can see this is AWS's policy generator. So you can create policies for different services. So for Amazon S3, VPC, IAM, SNS, and SQS. Okay, so we are going to, of course, create an S3 bucket policy. Okay. So we now need to add a statement, okay, and I will read this. So the effect needs to be allow, and on the principal we're going to say everyone, and that is denoted by a star. And then by default we're using Amazon S3. Okay, the action, okay, this is basically the API type here, and it's going to be get object. So we just want to look here for get object. Okay, there we have it. You can just check the checkbox there. And that's going to allow our users to actually read our object. Okay, so under ARN, so the Amazon resource name, we're going to assign it to this specific bucket here. So you can go ahead and click this icon and copy it. Then you can just paste it in like so. Now there's one more thing that we need to add, okay, and that is a / and a star. Okay, now I'm going to read this policy for you. So what's going to happen here? The effect all the way to the ARN. So we're going to allow everyone to utilize the Amazon S3 service to get an object, okay, from my bucket 96 AP, and we can see there it's declared as / everything. Okay, so that's what's happening here. I'll say it again. So we're going to allow all our users to utilize Amazon S3 to get an object from my bucket 96. Okay, now we can go ahead and add this statement. Okay, there it's added, and this is the statement that we have, okay, and we are now going to generate a JSON-based policy. So we can say generate policy, and there is our policy. So we can actually go ahead and copy this here. You can copy that, go back to your previous tab, and here in the policy here under the ARN, you can just go ahead and copy this in. Okay, just note that there is a line here that's been indented by default. So just go ahead and backspace here at the top, or else you'll get an error. Okay, so that is our policy. So what we can do now is we can go ahead and save the changes. Okay, our bucket policy has been activated. And there we go. Now we can see it is now fully accessible. It's now publicly accessible. So before it was, but only to an extent with certain conditions. But now we can see anyone now can access our all the objects in our bucket here, my bucket 96 AP. So if we go to our bucket here, let's go back to our bucket, and we want to click, we're on objects, and we click on cat1. And now if we go ahead and click on this URL and we open this up, you'll now see that we now have access to this cat image here. Now you can actually go ahead and test this. So if you were on another device that's not logged into AWS or anything, go ahead and type this in your URL or copy it over, and you'll notice that you'll be able to access your Amazon S3 buckets objects from anywhere in the world, since you've granted permissions for it to be publicly accessible. Okay, so now you are able to make your bucket public, okay, and all the objects are now viewable to everyone. Now, with this bucket policy, there are a lot of other things that you can actually do. So if I close this up here, you can see under the actions, these are like, you could say API types, and there are a lot of things that you can set here. So you can create a bucket, create an access point. You can go ahead and get bucket versioning. You can list your bucket, and you can put a bucket policy. There are a lot of things that you can do. So these are API actions that you can go ahead and actually read about. Okay. And the one we did was to basically enable a read property. Okay, so to enable anyone to read from our bucket, to read all the objects. Okay, so this is what we call an Amazon S3 bucket policy, which we just created. Okay, so that's it, and I hope it made sense to you.